Welcome to the 8th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. And if you're a first-time viewer watching, welcome. Thanks for joining us. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. We appreciate you being here. Also, to let you know, our adventure takes us to Cambridge, Ontario today, and also to Guelph, Ontario. But before we begin our adventure, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
All right, so we're going to talk first of all about what May's wearing. That is something called the Lacy Baktus. It's by Terhi Montenen. And it is a scarf that kind of comes from a point, goes to a deep V, and then it comes back to the point. And I think it looks great on you. The yarn, I don't have the ball band. I apologize for that. I bought it a long time at Romney Wools. There was a sample knit up. I thought that's nice, easy to knit. It's good to practice with. So I really enjoyed it. I've worn it a couple of times myself, but it's really pretty. It looks really good on you.
It's not something I would normally wear. I usually wear those other cowls that you just throw over your head. Now, this one was a lot more work where you have to tie and tuck, and it's just not something that I would wear on a regular basis. I just like the throw over your head ones that you've knit for me in the past, which are fantastic. So, anyway, it's okay for in a crunch.
Okay, well, it looks great on you. I love it. And so now I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing the Aeque cowl. Is by Hilary Smith Callis. And that is the same pattern designer that makes your Anguli cowl that you love so very much.
Now, this one you're wearing does not have the ties. It's just
you don't have to tie in the back. You just put it over your head and it sits. It's got it's different from the Anguli cowl. It's got a little bit of garter detail. I think you would like to wear this one.
I really like that cowl that you're wearing right now. It's just
so I made it out of Berroco comfort sock. It's 50% nylon and 50% acrylic. And it does sit nicely. I think if I was going to do it again, I would do it in a plain color. I might be able to find some tonal yarn because it's got this detail of garter along the one side and then this garter ridge before you bind off. And I think that would show better.
Yeah, I would like to see that cowl in plain color. I think that would look great.
All right, so I can see one of these Aeque cowls in your near future. So anyway, that's what we're wearing today. And now we're going to talk about our finished objects. Now we're going to talk about our finished objects. And today I have 2 finished objects and half an object. So we'll start with the finished objects first of all. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is a Hitchhiker. The pattern is by Martina Behm. I have made this before and I really love it. And this time what I did was I made it out of the Sweet Georgia Party of 5 Tough Love sock. And it is the graphite colorway. I wear a lot of black, and so I knew it was going to be okay. So we'll get as much as we can in.
Now, have you blocked this? Because it feels like it's been blocked.
I haven't blocked it.
Really? It's wonderful.
I know. I think it's the yarn. I think it helps a lot. It's got all these little points to it, so I would have to take those and put them out. But I really like this very much. I love the gradient, and I think it's going to be great because I could throw it over a white t-shirt in the summer just to keep my neck warm if it gets a little cool. Sometimes air conditioning at work, it can get a little cool.
And Party of 5, I know. It's my
favorite.
You
know. I've actually seen you in a yarn store saying about a Party of 5. So that's the first thing. The next one is another one of those baby hats. So we showed one in our last episode, and now I had some. So when I had some yarn left when I made you your scarf that you wore in the last episode. And it was by North Shore Prints. And it is 100% acrylic. The colorway is 501. And so I thought, well, let me just see how it works. So this pattern is by Heather Tucker. Excuse me for just a second. And it's called the Basic Baby Hat. It's for DK weight yarn. And I love how the stripes of this show up.
It's nice. It's really great colors.
It is. And it is 100% acrylic yarn. But it feels like cotton to me. So it's nice and soft, and I think it will.
Do we have anybody to give this to yet or not?
You know what I'm finding?
Saving all this baby.
Is that sometimes when I'm making socks, or sometimes when I'm working and there's little bits left, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making little things. Because we are at a vintage where lots of friends are becoming grandparents.
Right,
and so if I have a little basket, then we can just pull out what
That's
we
a great
need when we
idea.
need it. So
That's
I
a
think
really
that's
good
what I'm
idea.
going to do, and I'm going to use up the ends of what we're doing.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
So what I also decided to do, and this is the half object, is I decided to make up one of those baby socks. So this is called Jeanne Baby Toddler Socks, and it is by JoAnne Turcotte.
Wouldn't that be a great little gift for somebody who has a little grandbaby?
Yeah, so I didn't have time to get the second sock done, but it's on the needles. I've written down what I need to do, but I love how the stripes come up. They're a little wider because of the sock, and I think that would be really comfortable because it doesn't have the feel of a wool. It has that feel of a cotton, and I think that would be nice.
That would be great.
All right,
Yeah.
so those are my finished objects, and I think you might like to talk about your painting.
Well, we just have another painting, of course. I'm kind of running out of ideas for paintings, but we like the beach and we're surrounded by Great Lakes, so I always tend to want to do beachy kind of scenes.
Mm-hmm.
This was done in acrylic and put in a little frame. It's actually 3 paintings put in one frame, so that's my finished object.
I love it. I love it. You do a great job.
Thank you.
Quite the artist you are. Yeah, very good. So that's our finished objects, and next we're going to talk about my works in progress. Now I'm going to talk about my works in progress. And actually, this is my heel adventure. I have done lots of heel flaps and gussets, and I've had lots of comments from you because I've asked for information, what's a good heel to try. And so I decided when we went to Listowel, I bought some Paton's Kroy yarn. And I decided I'm going to try different things. So I've got 3 different heels to show, and I'm going to do a little bit of a review on these heels. Reviews for my foot. Everybody's foot's a little different, but hopefully this will help out.
My understanding is people were very good about giving you some advice on what to do and how to do different heels. That was very nice.
Yeah, it was great, and we appreciate your comments.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely.
nice, I thought.
All right, so this is the first one, and this is a German short row heel. And it is a garter stitch German short row heel. Now I'm not sure how much you can see because it's black, and sometimes black doesn't show up that well.
It's very cushy, and if you could see this, it is cushy, it looks cushy, and it feels cushy.
And when you put it on your foot, it feels cushy as well. Now this came from the Q-Train sock by Mina Philipp. She's the knitting expat. And she also has something called a mini heel flap adjustment because sometimes the heel needs to be a little deeper. So that's what I did. I actually added the extra rows, and I think I needed that for my foot. I like it. I like the fact that it's cushy. I like that it's easy to put in. So it's easy to put in the contrast as well. And when I first did it, I thought, okay, that's a heel I could use if I wanted to use a contrast heel.
Okay, nice.
So I was happy with that one.
You can have fun with that, doing different contrasts. I think that would be kind of fun.
Exactly. So the second sock heel that I tried was the Afterthought heel that comes from the Smooth Operator sock pattern by Susan B. Anderson. And the instructions in this pattern are amazing. There's lots of pictures. It was easy to do. So that's what the heel looks like. It kind of looks a little bit like a toe, but when you take it this way, you can help me with that and just hold it that way so they can see the heel. That's great. This one involved putting in, I used contrast yarn, and you just held the place for the heel, and then you knit a little past it, and then you did that. Now, the interesting thing is I had a little bit of yellow yarn, and I used it, and both May and I looked at it and went, oh, the heel would be great if it was yellow. So I think sometime I'm going to make a gray sock and have a yellow heel.
That's
I think
what
that would be nice.
The fun part to do that.
And I liked this one. I didn't do any specific adjustments to it. It was easy to put in. I did use waste yarn, but there was good instructions about how to pick it up, how to pick up those stitches. I think it went really well. So I was pleased about that one as well. So far, I've got 2 thumbs up. Those are both really good. And then the last one that I did, and I'll let you hold that, that is the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So that pattern is $1, and I tell you it is worth easily $10 because it's got the heel pattern, it's got some measurement ideas, you go through the process, and I really like this. So the comments that I had, most of them liked this one. It was one that they recommended, and I really like this heel. I like how easy it is. It's a little easier than a German short row heel. I like the fit of it. That's the part I wasn't sure of. I really liked that. And the other thing I did on this sock because this sock was just a little bit loose and I wanted to tighten it up. So on the top side of it, I don't know if you can see, I put some ribbing in. Not a whole lot, but it just snugged that up for my foot, and I really, really liked that.
Nice.
Now, I want to talk about the toe because I have a funny shaped foot. And what I decided to do is there's no sense messing with the heel if I'm not going to deal with the toes. Now, I used the same toe for all of these 3 socks because I tried it on the first one and I really liked it. So, both Mina Philipp and KF Jones, who is one of the bakery bears, they do more of a rounded toe, which is what the shape of my toes are. And so I was able to do the contrast color. It's a little bit more rounded. You have a little bit more pointy toes. I don't have that. So this actually sits nice, fits nice, and I was really happy with this. So there's not any one of these socks I don't want to do. I'm going to do the other half. That's what I'm going to work on. We have talked about the fact that we're going to Scotland.
Right.
And my understanding is it can get cold there.
Yes.
And I think these, because they're nice wool socks, even if all I do is wear them around houses when we're in Scotland, I think it's going to help a lot.
I think it'll be great, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was good. And I have to tell you, great adventure. Thanks again for everybody's comments. We really appreciate it. And thanks also to those of you who have subscribed because we appreciate that as well. But I'm so happy that I actually went for it. I tried it. Sometimes I'm the kind of person who says, if it's not going to work, I don't want to. But this time, because of your positive energy coming my way, I was thrilled. I tried it. I'm happy with all 3. And I think that if I want to do something with a contrast heel, any one of these 3 would be good. So that's my works in progress. So now I have to do the other half of those socks, but I'll work on those. And now we're going to talk about our adventure.
Today our adventure takes us to Cambridge, Ontario. We visited the yarn store Galt House of Yarn, and it was for a trunk show. Colleen can talk a little bit more about the trunk show, and her name was the Crooked Kitchen Yarns, I think that trunk show was called. Yes. And we also went to Guelph, Ontario, to a yarn store called All Strung Out. Now, while we were in Cambridge, though, we went to their local market, which was kind of fun. And also we went to a shoe store we popped in, because Colleen and I are very well known for the shoes that we buy on a regular basis. 1 or 2 pairs. It's because we don't like to try on bathing suits. And for those of you, you could appreciate that. Like, would you rather try on shoes or bathing suit? Would you rather shoes or tight jeans? We end up going for the shoes.
Right.
Anyway, Colleen was able to buy a pair of great shoes there. And I think it's important to talk about them because I think it's an experiment to see if they're really truly waterproof.
Exactly. So May and I are traveling to Scotland and Ireland in the summer, and we know there's going to be lots of rain. Rumor has it, lots of rain.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Hopefully not, but we're prepared for it.
We're prepared for it. So I've been looking for a pair of waterproof shoes. I was looking for something that had Gore-Tex in it. And so I was looking for those. May had found a pair in another shoe store, and they just didn't fit my feet. So when we were in Cambridge Galt, we went to this place called Tyson of Galt Quality Footwear, and
they were so nice in that store. They were so helpful. They were
great,
and very great. Great little store if you're ever in Cambridge.
So I found these. Now they're Aeque shoes, and May is really good about saying, try them on. And they had a sale, so that was helpful as well. But these fit so well. They have laces, which help my feet, and they're so comfortable. So I think that's perfect. I was expecting to buy yarn. I was not expecting to get a pair of shoes. And so I'm really thrilled with them. And we're going to let you know whether waterproof is waterproof when we go.
That's perfect.
So
now, what I was really thrilled also because Colleen never finds shoes that fit because your feet are very different.
Yep. Half size difference in size. Yep.
So that makes it awkward. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So these were bought in London, Ontario, and these are called All Rounders, and they're waterproof shoes also. They're all like made with one piece, and so I'd like to try these out in the rain, and I will let you know if they're worth the money or not. After our Scotland trip will be a true test as to whether or not they're waterproof. But I think it's important to try these things out so people know whether they work or whether they don't.
Great.
Well, anyway, we'll try
Yeah,
that.
I
So
like
that
them.
was
That's
that was
great.
kind of a big part of our adventures going to that shoe store. It was kind of fun. So that was Cambridge. We went on to Guelph, Ontario, which is a population of about 131,000 people. And I always base that on whether there's a Starbucks or not, and that gives us an idea. We were able to visit the John McCrae house in Guelph. And John McCrae was a lieutenant, and he was also a physician, an artist, an author, and he wrote in Flanders Fields. He was born in the 1800s, and during World War I, that's when he wrote the in Flanders Fields, and it's popular. So we visited his house, and they really restored that to make it look like it was when he lived there.
Oh,
and
that's
you'll
great.
see some photos on that in our podcast. Also, we had we went, which was just around the corner. We visited the most photographed train in Canada, and that train was built and based out of New Brunswick back in World War II, 1940s, I believe that train was built.
Okay.
And then World War II, it was it carried supplies and troops.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
always interested in stuff like that because I always think if that train could talk, what would it say about all
Exactly.
those people and everything around it? So then it got in a really bad accident, a head-on collision. There were some
Oh, my
people who were
goodness.
killed. There was lots of people injured in 1943. And then after that, in the 1960s, they refurbished it all. And in the 1960s, it became, took out to Ontario and all around to special trips and special destinations
great.
all over Ontario.
Kids love trains. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, they do.
So that's how it became the most photographed train in Ontario, or Canada. So that was, so you'll see that on the podcast also. So it was great adventure again. We love to do that. We had a great lunch, market, shoe shopping. Like overall, it was a fantastic day, and we always have a good time together, and
We
it's
do.
fantastic. So
Yes.
thank you, Colleen, for that great adventure, and we hope to share more of those with you in the future.
Absolutely. So, in our next section, we're going to talk about our souvenirs and what we picked up when we went to Cambridge and to Guelph. Now we're going to talk about our souvenirs. I have some souvenirs to talk about, and May has a souvenir to talk about. So I'm going to talk first of all about the Galt House of Yarn. So the owner is Anne Vasic, and the building itself is in the Heritage Bread Factory building. It is a really neat building.
It was kind of funny because when we went there, it was like, do not park here. This is for the bread factory only. So we parked way far away. And then we realized it was in the bread factory. We could have parked right there. So.
Exactly. So, as we mentioned earlier, the Crooked Kitchen Yarn Company was having a trunk show. And that dyer is Laura Jones.
She's a very nice lady. Got
She's
a
very
conversation with Laura, because not too much because I didn't want to keep her from her customers, but there was a lot of people there. But she did take the time to have a little chat with us about dyeing wool and how much fun it is, and maybe possibly getting into dyeing wool. So that was exciting.
Yeah, it was. She was lovely. And I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 different skeins of yarn in my hand because I couldn't decide what to do. And then I found this one. So this is called Ghosts in the Machine, which I think is quite a funny name. There we go. And it is it's kind of a muted blue, and it's almost got a gray that runs through it. And I really, really like it. If we can just do that and hold it up and see what they think about that.
She had a lot of great colored yarns there.
She
did a great job.
And what I was looking for, I want to do the Katie shawl, which is by Cozy Up Designs. Those are the Cozy Up with the Stitchin Sisters. They're in Grand Prairie, Alberta. I love watching their podcast. And I had a navy skein of yarn, and I wanted something that would go with it. So this tonal is just a beautiful pale blue. But it's dark enough that I think it's going to go really well.
Yeah, it'll go with a lot of things.
So I have been holding tight thinking, I've got to wait till we podcast, but I want to, wind it up and get started on it. But I found that at the Galt House of Yarns. I was looking to try and find a match. I'm all about contrast heels, toes, and cuffs now. And I wanted to try and find something to match some yarn that I had, and I couldn't find anything. And I'm wondering, do you buy like a a gradient set, or how do you find that perfect color that matches? So if you've got any ideas that will help me set up so that I know how to do that matching, I would really appreciate it, because it was a little frustrating when I couldn't find anything, but that's okay. And so that's what I was looking for, didn't find anything. But the store itself is beautifully laid out. They have lots of kits. So if you like to get a kit, that's good. The owner was great and really helpful. It was very busy because of the trunk show, but she was really good about helping us out. The other thing I picked up was some of these Knitter's Pride cubics, and they're made of rosewood. And part of the reason why I needed these is because I'm going to be traveling. I want to knit on the plane, and I was hoping to find something that wouldn't be taken away from me. So this is where I'm asking for help, because every yarn store I go to now, I am saying, I'm going on a plane. I want to know what needles I should use. What should I take with me? Because I don't want them to be taken away.
And everybody has a story, and everybody has a different story.
Exactly. So some people say everything's okay. Some people say don't take circulars because the cords could be used. Some people say don't take metal.
Some people say take wood.
Take wood.
Some people, this was a great suggestion. I think it was I don't remember who, but they had said take a self-addressed envelope, and then you have to leave the line up and go and post them back to yourself.
Yes. So
that was a good suggestion.
Yes. So we've got a number of subscribers now. And anybody else who would like to comment, please comment down below and let me know, how have your adventures in going on a plane with your knitting been? What works, what doesn't work? If you've had things taken away, what have you had taken away? If you were able to knit, let me know. Because as much as I'm worried about what clothes am I going to take with me, right now I'm worried about what knitting needles I'm going to be taking with me. I know that sounds a little crazy. Things have changed,
though. That used to be the case. Though.
Exactly. So anyway, if you can help me out with that, I would really appreciate that. So anyway, that's why I bought the wooden ones. I thought it might be a good idea, but I'm not sure about double points now. So we're going to figure that out. So that was what I got at the Galt House of Yarns. Did you want to talk about
in Cambridge?
what we got in Cambridge?
And
yes.
so in Cambridge, there was a daughter, their mother and daughter. They run a soap store selling soap, and this smelled so good in lavender.
Yeah, it's called the Wild Rose Soap Company.
And it's so, I think it's beautiful. And anyway, Colleen had it in with your bag for the yarn. And the yarn smells so nice.
It does.
Yeah, very nice. 100% Canadian. So there you go.
There
we beautiful.
Go.
So I'll try it out and I'll let you know.
Exactly. Well, I may steal some of it to keep in my knitting bag, because honestly, it smells really, really nice. So that was what we did as far as Cambridge and Galt. And then we went to Guelph. And so we went to the store that's called All Strung Out. And there we met Andy and Paula.
Very nice. And you saw a picture of Paula on our podcast video.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And they were great and helpful. They were busy helping out somebody who was doing some learning to knit.
Right. They had gone on, they were talking to them, and they were going on an Alaska cruise, and they said it was amazing. And they would love to do that again. Yeah,
and they said that the cruise that they went on, there were 400 knitters, but 2,500 people on the cruise. And so I thought that would be great for us to go on adventure, because I could knit and you could go do what the other people are doing, and then we could get together and talk about what our day was like.
That would be awesome.
They were great people and really helpful.
The store was lovely. Lots of great yarn.
Absolutely.
I'm not a knitter, of course, as you know, but you can speak more about the yarn that they had, but it just looked like they had a lot of good stuff.
Right.
Colors.
And there was some self-striping sock yarn, and I wish I'd bought some, and I didn't. And you could either get it so that they were wound separately, so the socks would be together. So my understanding is what the dyer does is she dyes the sock blank she knits it with 2 strands, and then you're going to get exactly the same socks. So sometimes
that's awesome.
You wish you had bought something.
But you know what? Guelph is not that far away. We could do another adventure there, and then you could pick up what you need, because I'm sure you need more yarn.
Saying this. She's saying this on camera, people, so you hear it here.
More stash.
Anyway, right, more stash. So I may go back because I really liked it. The color was really vibrant, so they might be fun to do that. So that was one thing I didn't get. But what I was able to find was this yarn, which is called White Kiwi. It's merino, nylon, alpaca, and it actually has some possum in it. It comes from New Zealand, but it had a color that I thought would go with the yarn that I took.
purple.
to try and match. And then when I got it out and I got it home, I thought, you know, it doesn't really match like I wanted it to. But the joy of stash is I was able to find some yarn that I had bought before. And so this is Premier Yarns. It's Deborah Norval. It's lovely. And I had it. And now that I know how to do contrast heels and I'm happy with them, now I think I can pair those together. So I'm really happy with that. It's just a small little skein, but it's a special thing. And so when I'm talking about souvenirs and what you buy when you go with you, so I'm going to remember that those heels came from that store, all strung out in Guelph. And that's what I like about this knitting and the adventures that we do.
That was great. It was a great day.
It was a great
fun.
day. It was.
You got some cool things, and we got shoes. It was just one day.
It was a great day.
Great adventure.
So that's our venture to Cambridge and Guelph. And please feel free to subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Comment below. Help me with my, what do I take on the plane? What needles do I take on the plane? I would really appreciate that. And your other comments we appreciate as well. So thank you for taking this time with us.
And thank you. Until next time.
You take care.